Thank you. Yeah, thanks again for having us. I'm hoping I don't do a Gemma Collins on here and fall off the edge of the stage and turning around. I don't know how many times that joke's been used today, but anyway, so we are Oliver and Andy. We run Landing Page Guys and Page Source. So we've had a design and development agency for the past 5 to 6 years. Lying between the two of us, we've got over 15 years experience in direct response marketing and advertising online. Our design and development agency has developed over 2,000 pages for a large scale of clients, everyone from your kind of average affiliate to your Fortune 500 company. There's some names you'll see on this slide. And we generated a lot of money for our customers. So we like to think we kind of know what we're doing, but we want to talk today about our blueprint. So we have a design and development agency. We basically developed this blueprint over the last 4 to 5 years, and it's almost like a checklist. It's basically what our designers and our developers run through before we deliver our pages to our clients. So everything we do is fully bespoke. We design for advertisers and such, and they have to check against this checklist to then deliver it to the client. So a lot of these things will be quite small, and you might look at the slides and think, oh, that's only a small little change, but combined together, they can lead to a very large increase in your conversion rates, your click-through rates, your sales, whatever you're going for. So Andy, if you can just talk a little bit about these.
Just the formalities before we jump into the blueprint. I won't keep it too long. Like I said, Terra Leeds did invite us to talk today as well, so I just want to say a few things about them. Oliver's introduced us. So Terra Leeds, a leading lead generation network. They have a CPA hub, which means they own all of their offers, so they have full control of the full path. So once you're a partner with them, they invite you in. There's real control over what you're doing and optimizing and how you're controlling your funnels and process. They have offers in 14 European geos and counting. They're growing every day. Daily payouts on request and excellent support for all of their partners. So check them out. They're actually upstairs on the mezzanine. If you want to go and check them out after this talk, you can go and ask them any questions you may have. But anyway, onto the blueprint.
Excellent, guys. So as I mentioned, this stat on the stage sorry, on the screen is pretty black and white, but it is simple. It's a 42-step blueprint. We're not going to run through 42 slides, don't worry. We're just going to go through the 12 crucial slides. But at the end of the presentation, we will provide a link for you where you can download the full report and basically check through and use it as your own checklist in essence. So moving on to the first point. And this is probably what we feel is these days the most important point, is to page speed optimize your landing page. I'm just going to read the stats out. 1 second decrease in your load speed is equal to a 2% increase in your conversions. So, we have clients who come to us and their pages are taking very long to load. The code is not validated. It's very heavy. The page doesn't load instantly, and especially with mobile these days, everything needs to be quick. Everyone needs to get onto that page quickly and see it. So the stat is really crucial here. The quicker you get your page to load, the more people are going to convert. Whether that's, as I said, a click-through, whether that's a purchase, whether that's a form submit, it doesn't really matter. You need to make sure your page is loading quick. There's a little tool you can use. Some of you may have heard of it, but if you go to gtmetrics.com, you put in your URL, it basically runs through and it spits out how fast your page loads, and then it gives you a report on what you can do to kind of improve that load speed. It's a crucial one. It's probably what we normally say our most important one, and you wouldn't imagine how many leads we have come to us and they still don't get this crucial element right. So make sure your pages load quickly.
Next up is to ensure your page is responsive. May seem obvious, and I'm sure a lot of you may do it already. Obviously, I'm not talking about the guys who maybe only run desktop campaigns, but we are now in an era where over 52% of web traffic is on the mobile. So it's now surpassed desktop, so it's super, super crucial. Obviously, making it responsive may seem like an obvious statement, but we like to say that you need to also optimize for responsive devices, make it adaptive. What a lot of people will do is they'll take the landing page, they'll stack all the elements, and they think that's done, they think that's excellent. But you really need to optimize, because what works on desktop, certain elements that you have on your desktop page may interfere on your mobile tablet device. It may seem a bit disjointed, it may ruin the flow. And there's certain principles and psychological principles that I talk about later on, but you need to follow these. So ensuring it's responsive, but ensuring it's optimized responsibly so that certain elements are removed or whatever you may need to do.
Moving on, I'm just going to do a quick test here. So, quick show of hands. How many people who are watching this use Chrome as their default browser? Most of you. Anyone use Internet Explorer? Thank God for that. Okay, so as you'll see on the screen, 25% of people still aren't using Chrome as a browser, but I guarantee that most of you, when you receive landing pages for your offers, or when you get creators back from your creative team or your design and development agencies, you probably don't view them in different browsers. Now this is crucial. We've had case studies where people have come to us where they're driving hundreds of thousands of hits, a direct response lead gen page for example, and they're driving hundreds of thousands of hits to a page a week, spending a lot of money. And we see that page on Chrome and it looks great, but we take it over to an older version of Internet Explorer or Firefox or Safari, and even as much as the kind of button that you have to push to convert the form is missing. And it's definitely crucial to run it past all the top 5-6 browsers and see how it performs on each and every one. There's a really cool tool again. If you go to browser shops, just Google browser shops, basically again you put in your URL, then it spits out how the page will look on each and every device, and you can then optimize accordingly to that. But it's a crucial point. Make sure you're viewing all your landing pages across all the top browsers.
One for the lead gen guys in here, it relates to your forms. I don't know how many of you, I've certainly had many of these experiences where you go on a website, fill out the form, maybe quite a lot of fields as well, you click submit, some error pops up, and then some user-friendly error saying please fill out all the fields or something like that, and then it gets rid of all your data or something like that. Utilising front-end validation is not hard to do, and there's a sort of a double-edged benefit to this, not only on the front end for your user experience, so that your user can see what they're doing, what they need to do to get through your form, make it as easy as you can for them, but also in terms of the back end, your lead quality. We found that the lead quality, once you provide live front-end validation, really does shoot up because people know what they're doing, they're not dropping off, but they're entering the correct details, how your buyer may want them or your supplier. So utilising front-end validation is very key. Now, just to start on the bottom there, this is a test we did with the landing page guys, and we added front-end validation and was instantly a very quick upshoot of 70% on the lead quality on the back end. So very simple to do. There are resources like fieldvalidation.net, parser.js, you can hand them to your developer. They're frameworks, very easy to implement, but very important.
Moving on to the title of this slide is Highlight Your Value Proposition. Now we're going to talk about positioning as well as proposition. Obviously it's crucial that whenever you land, when you put yourself in the mind of a user and they land on your landing page, the first thing they're going to see is that value proposition above the fold. We've given two examples here. We're quite biased. One is ours on the left, which is Patience, one on the right, which is Envision app, which is a great piece of software if anyone knows what it is. But we feel that they both do it right, and you have to get that value proposition above the fold is crucial. So don't clutter it with stuff that shouldn't be there, don't put any links that shouldn't be there, don't put any other distractions, don't put paragraphs of text, put a very clear headline, and we'll talk about key elements shortly in another slide, but make sure there's a clear headline that you're getting across exactly what you're offering on your page, a very clear call to action, a supporting image on the right or a video on the left, is also crucial. But your value proposition, when you first load on that page, it has to load quick, and it has to be informative, it has to capture that user, and it has to be informational. I love this stat. 84% of people will not scroll down unless your value proposition above the fold captures them. So just think about that. 84% of people, you may have your call to action, you may have some crucial data below the fold. But 84% of people on average aren't going to see that data unless you make your value proposition above the fold strong enough for them to scroll.
Again, leading on from that, in a sense, it's just about enhancing your key elements. Now, there are loads of things you can do from a design perspective in terms of utilising white space. So you're going to have one goal in mind for your page, whether it's for someone to fill out a form, click a button, buy a product. Now, you don't want to clutter that with things around it, elements around it, so you need to utilise white space. Other simple little things you can do design-wise, you can drop shadows, colours. Now, in the example, this is again very simple, but it took us a while to figure out ourselves actually. On the landing page, guys, we added a drop shadow to our form, and we changed it from grey to blue. It instantly popped, and our conversion rate went up massively. Now, it's a very simple thing, but it's quite easy not to think about enhancing those key elements. The main goal of your page, the call to action, wherever it may be, the simplest things can make a massive difference.
Yeah, so this is one I touched on the value proposition side, but it's using those critical elements. So when we think about critical elements, we think about that, again, everything that probably should be above the fold. It's the headline, it's the outline and description, the supporting image, and the call to action. Now, these are very brief, however, I'm going to go into them in a little bit more detail. So your headline should be punchy, it should be short, and it should be telling the user what benefits they get. Not what your software does, what benefit the user gets in a very short and punchy headline. The outline and description. Now, most people, well, I say most people, a lot of people will do this via text. They'll do it in a quite long paragraph about whatever your product, or whatever you're selling, whatever you're doing, whatever lead gen offer, whatever it may be. We found that converting that text into punchy bullet points, say 5 to 4, always use an odd number, but 5 bullet points normally works best. Taking that paragraph of text and just doing very punchy 5 bullet points seems to work a lot better. You'll notice the stat on the bottom of the site. Call to action, make sure your call to action is very strong. Only have one, do not confuse that user. Do not give them the ability to go elsewhere. Do not give them the ability to choose between call to action. Just give them one very straightforward call to action, especially when it's not organic traffic. When you're paying for traffic, every click counts. So you need to make sure you're giving that one strong call to action. And supporting image, again, we may touch on this a little bit later, but the image and video really needs to hit home. Don't use stock images, it doesn't work, okay? So if you're using a stock image of a happy family on a health insurance, a life insurance page, it's not really going to convert. You need to hit home, you need to have organic, real, I don't know, go onto your friend's Facebook, pick a picture of them, do something like that, get their permission, of course, first. But you want something that's very organic, very, unique, it doesn't look stock, it looks like it's genuine, and that really gives the user kind of trust and a connection with your page. So use these critical elements mainly above the fold, and yeah, they're crucial to use.
Okay, this one touches kind of on what we've been discussing already, but bundles it all up. Has anyone heard of the AIDA principle in here? No? Okay, so basically the AIDA principle delves into user psychology and how users act, and this can be used on your content, design, anything like that, anything on your landing page. But effectively it's an acronym. So AIDA stands for, the A is for attention, I for interest, and then we've got desire, and then action. This is something we use on pretty much all of our landing pages where we can. Really effective psychological triggers, and basically once your user has been pulled into your page by your value proposition and the critical elements that Oliver mentioned, you grab their attention at the top, we then lead them through a journey from attention through to action. So in the example on the screen is actually, again, is our landing page guy's website. And what we've done is we've got, so to capture their attention, we've used a strong value proposition. I don't know if you can read it, but it's increase your business sales and conversions with our our responsive affordable landing pages. So we tell them what they're going to achieve and how we're going to do it. We then, to capture their attention, we pull them in. We move on to interest. So we tell them some of the benefits of using the service, using us, as well as some of the features that they'll get by using our product. So we've now piqued their interest, we've got them thinking about what they could potentially do with us. Move on to design, you can do many different things here. We pair our portfolio so that people can see our pages, they start desiring the product, they see their product maybe on the pages, they see what we do, what we can do for them, and then we also hit them with some testimonials and some social proof as well, which aren't on the screenshot, but really important because it gets people trusting. They don't want to miss out on your product. Finally, hit them with the action. Don't give them anything else. Give them a very easy way to get the service that you're offering. You've led them through this journey so far. So now give them what they want. Give them a reason to fill out your form, buy your product, whatever it may be. Just hit them with that action. So a very simple process that you can use, like I said, in content design. Lead the visitor through a journey and to your action.
Again, something I touched on earlier is removing all distractions. So when we spoke about that slide that says above the fold, if you're doing a direct response campaign, if you're doing lead gen, if you're just driving traffic directly to a form submit where you want someone to do something on your page, don't give them any other excuse to do anything else. So even if that's as small as removing all your nav icons, if you've got nav menu at the top and you give your user the ability to kind of skip through pages and then resort back to your opt-in page, get rid of it. There's no point. You need to remove everything from your page that's going to take people away from your page. Even as far as now, in our agency, we've started, you probably see it now, but we've started to put even our terms and conditions and privacy policies in pop-ups. So we don't direct people away from the page, we just do it in a pop-up, they're still on a page, it then shrinks down and they've still got that call to action in front of them. Irrelevant links, as I said, if you're doing advertorials, if you're doing content articles that drive to your lead gen page, don't send them anywhere else. If there's stats from an external website, put that directly on your page. Don't send them anywhere else, keep them on your page and keep them with your goal in mind. Social widgets. We see so many times clients come to us and they have advertorials, so they have pages, and they have these kind of light boxes, you know, from Facebook and Twitter and such. And all you're doing really is giving someone an excuse to bounce off the page, giving someone an excuse to click through to Facebook. Before you know it, they're scrolling through their feed, they're attending an event, and they're nowhere near your page. So remove anything that doesn't funnel them through to your own funnel, and yeah, read the stats on the bottom. It speaks for ourselves. Especially, this is really crucial on advertorials or content before you know, a pre-sale or something, a page you're sending people before your actual kind of opt-in page or sales page. Get rid of everything. Just have one link straight through to your offer or through to your lead gen page.
I'm just really going to quickly jump back to what Oliver just said in terms of light boxes, something to add for lead gen guys. When you have your form and then you have someone that has to agree to or consent to something, it's terms or whatever it may be, simple light box is in the form, it pops up, they close it, they don't leave the page, it doesn't open a new tab. I know the intent is already there for them, but it's just that extra little thing that you can do. Anyway, moving on, make your call to action pop. Again, two things I'm going to say about this one, from a design perspective again and a content perspective. Your call to action is most likely going to be the most important thing on your page, because at the end of the day you've built this page with one goal in mind. Now there are a lot of things you can do, I've discussed some already, utilising the space around it, making sure it's clear, colours, make sure it pops, have an accent colour that's different to the rest of your site. In the example on the page of Trello, actually we've got a green one, which really stands out. But the biggest thing that we see is on the content side. So with your call to action, you want to make it informative. You want to let your visitor know what they're going to get when they click the button. We did it ourselves. That's the example on the right hand side. We used to have our form that used to say continue. That was our button. No one knew what they were getting when they click continue. They could have had 17 more steps. They might have submitted their details and they didn't want to. Who knows? So we quite simply changed that to get free quote. It was informative. It told people what they're getting as soon as they click the button, and we saw a massive increase in our conversions. Trello do the same on that example. I don't think you can see it possibly, but it basically says sign up, it's free. So they're telling you what you're getting, you're signing up, and you don't have to pay anything either. So design, make it pop, but also really make it informative. Tell the user, the visitor, what they're going to get when they click that call to action. Okay, next one, again, visitor psychology, something I could talk about all day, I won't bore you with, similar to the AIDA principle, but always emphasise your benefits over your features. Now there are certain companies that do this very well. In the mainstream, people like Apple, you don't often see them with an advert flashing their camera telling you there's a 12 megapixel camera with dual flash or what have you. They try to create memories that relate to the people that they're trying to sell to. So they emphasise the benefits over the features. Because at the end of the day, we're all buying a product, we're using a service for how it makes us feel, for what it does for us. So, as the example on the screen, a benefit, capture your magical family memories versus 12 megapixel camera with LED flash. I know which one I would rather be listening to and engaging with. So, always try and think of your benefits first. Don't omit your features, just maybe try and get into the user's mindset first and cover those benefits.
And just to touch on leveraging social proof and testimonials. Most of you will probably do this already, but it is key. So if you don't have testimonials and social proof on your page, make sure you do. Especially if you're a branded page and you're trusted by some really big organisations, reach out to them, always ask their permission, but make sure you can get a testimonial or a quote, use their logo. When it comes to testimonials on, say for example, lead gen pages or sales pages, Again, stay away from stock photos. They have to be organic. They have to be, a normal picture with a background, someone who's caught off guard. They can't be, someone smiling in a studio. They don't look authentic. It straight away doesn't instill trust, which on the flip side, when you use someone who's real, who's organic, the trust element is there. You'll notice on our website on the right, we have brands we work with. We've worked with some great brands, and just putting those logos on our landing page really instills that trust again, and it makes the user kind of think, right, well, I'm in good company here, so I'm going to get in touch with these guys. They clearly know what they're doing. They've worked with some great brands. But to flip it on its head, you can do that on your sales pages, your lead pages, whatever kind of follows. So yeah, just increase your testimonials and brands that you work with. Use logos, and social proof is key.
Okay, maybe a seemingly obvious one, but a lot of people don't do it. We have 42 points in this blueprint. As Oliver mentioned, we can't take all of your day talking about them. We've just covered 11 above, and we're just going to finish on this one about testing, because the list isn't definitive, and whilst we may claim to know everything, we really don't. Markets and people act differently. So you really need to ensure you're always testing your landing pages, whether you implement one of the things we spoke about today, all of them. Always have a control version and be testing, constantly testing. And again, we say this to our clients all the time, and we drum it into them because people can't always be bothered, but it's massive data you can gather. Now, there are many different things you can do: split tests, A/B tests, multivariate tests, which I could go into, but there are some great services you can use. Patials, we have it built in with the pages, but you can also use third-party services like Visual Website Optimizer, Optimizely. I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard of these. Really powerful softwares that you can plug your page into, make on-the-fly tweaks, and gather data very quickly and effectively. So please, even if you don't implement any of these today and you're not testing already, please at least go away and implement some sort of form of testing on your pages.
Yeah, and I think that's a crucial point that Andy just said, is to, even if you don't implement, I mean, the blueprint is basically something that you can tick off to get to a very good starting point. And we believe that this is the strongest starting point you can be when you build your own landing pages or websites online, when you're focused on conversions. However, taking it further is the kind of A/B testing, the testing afterwards. And what you don't want to do, you don't want to just, unless you're kind of completely testing against two different variations, just make little changes. VWA is a great bit of tool. It's a great tool. You can just change like a color of a button or a bit of text if you go to vwo.com, and you can just literally split test tiny little elements and see which one converts better. If it converts better, go do another test. If it converts better more, go do another test. I think the thing we seem to find is the best test to start with is that supporting image, isn't it? That's the one that really has the most effect. It's taking people away from that kind of stock photo, putting that organic photo on there, and you wouldn't believe how you can skyrocket your click-throughs or conversion rates. If you head on over to patials.com/PMI, you'll get the full report. There's no opt-in. You don't have to buy. We're not trying to collect your email or anything. We're just trying to give you some information. So head on over there.
It's just on my blog at the minute. Actually,
there we go.
So
we redirect.
That's how transparent it is. You'll come to my blog. You won't see my post, don't worry about that. It is case sensitive, I was told by tech just before, so capital PMI, but as Oliver mentioned, all of the points are there for you to browse through and take a look.
And that's it, guys. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. I see some of you writing down some notes, so we're going to invite some questions. Hopefully we can answer them. If not, if any of you want to kind of grab us afterwards or go for a drink, we've just discovered there's a Prosecco lounge, so we'll hopefully be up there. But,
there's not just a Prosecco lounge. Impact Radius has a complimentary bar for these guests here up there afterwards, which we can enjoy. We do have questions which you guys have kindly produced, and the first one I'm going to ask actually is, you talked about the 12 points, you talked about the 42 points. If they just needed to implement one of those, which is the most important?
Yeah, so for me, I feel that the kind of first three slides are crucial, especially in this day and age when everything's on mobile. And you mentioned earlier, 52% of traffic now is over 52% of traffic is now on mobile. So if you're targeting everything, or if you're just targeting mobile, page speed is crucial. Your page has to load quick. Responsiveness, but not just responsiveness. As Andy said, it has to go further than responsiveness. It has to be adaptive. So screen resolutions, whether that's on a tablet, whether that's on a small 11-inch MacBook, whether that's on a 21-inch iMac, your kind of pages have to adapt fully. And when you're on a mobile, you might want to hide some elements. You know, you can't have the same page you do on a desktop as you do on a mobile, because you're not getting that same size of a screen. But yeah, definitely page speed, responsiveness, and obviously checking across the browsers as well.
That's great. But this question, the next two questions, actually going to put you on the spot. So Andy, be ready for this.
On the spot now.
This is good. So this question is about who's got it right. Can you cite a landing page that's got it right that people can go to and look at and see that's what works? And can you also cite who's got it wrong? And if they've got it wrong, what did they do so badly? What was the mistakes they made?
Yeah, certainly. I think actually in terms of who's got it right, you can probably look at some of the big players, big SaaS companies. I mean, they spend millions on this sort of thing. We had some examples in the presentation, Vision, Trello, these guys, Teamwork. All of these guys have spent a lot of money on testing these things. Basecamp are a great one as well. But once you see these things, once you see some of the principles, ADA, social proof, all of these things, you realise that these guys have obviously got it right and they've thought about these things. And you'll quite often find that you've probably been led through the journey yourselves. You're probably a member of some of these softwares, and it's all just because they've really thought about these things and tested them and implemented them.
Does that mean you're going to give Oliver the task of telling us who's got it wrong?
Am I allowed to point at people or not? Okay.
You can point.
No, I'm only joking. Who's got it wrong? To single out someone is not fair, but you wouldn't imagine the amount of kind of leads and people that come into our company and ask us to kind of, typically speaking, people already have pages. So the first thing we do is put them through the blueprint test. You know, that's how you know that we can improve their conversions. It's almost an easy sell. If a client comes to us, I put it into GT metrics, it loads slow. You know, it loads longer than kind of 2 to 3 seconds. If I put it through W3C validation and the code is all messy, you know that's why. If I throw it on browser shots, the tool we mentioned earlier, and on Chrome it looks completely different to it does on Firefox, then we know they've got it wrong, and that's why our job is kind of somewhat easy when the lead comes in, because we're very confident that we can then, you know, increase their conversion. So to single someone out wouldn't be fair, but you'd be amazed at how many top kind of advertisers and direct response marketers do get this wrong. Run it through the blueprint, and then at least you'll know you're at a good starting point.
So this question links into that actually. You mentioned GT Metrics as a tool. Are there other tools that these guys can use to test against your blueprint?
Sure. And again, I would just write down the kind of ones we've mentioned. So VWO.com is an amazing piece of kit for testing. So once you're at that blueprint level,
Can you say that again? Which one?
VWO.com.
VWO.
Yeah, so Visual Website Optimizer. It's an amazing piece of kit for testing after you've kind of built the blueprint. But to get to that point, GTmetrics.com is how you test your page speed. If you Google W3C validation, you'll see a tool, I can't remember what the domain is now, but you'll see a tool that basically, you put in your URL and it will tell you how your code is on the back end, which is also very important when it comes to page speed, because often that can slow you down. So you can get a report there. Browser shots, so if you Google browser shots, again, you just put in your URL. What it does is it will show you exactly how your landing page or website looks on all the top browsers. In fact, it even goes back as far as different releases of that browser. You know, you might be running on 10.1, but a lot of people are still viewing it on 9.5, and you know, it's a headache for your developer, but it's worth getting right if you can just increase your conversion by 0.5%, of course.
That's great. I mean, there's been such a masterclass in how to do it right. So I'm expecting to see amazing looking landing pages coming up. Thank you so much to Andy Haskins and Oliver Kenyon. I got the names right in the right order. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
And we'll be back again at 3 o'clock. So again, you've got about 15 minutes or so to take a break, enjoy the complimentary bar from Impact Radius upstairs, or catch up with these guys in the Prosecco Lounge.